women aren't evil. Maybe we just need to realize that our dicks being big is the last thing that they need from us. Maybe we need to realize that what they need more than a big dick is somebody that gives a fuck. In the bedroom, in life. Maybe we need to realize that, you know, that our penis is probably not that important in the grand scheme of things. And yes, I am the dude that owns a company that makes penis enlargement devices, and I know I repeat myself over and over and over, and I tell all of you that you don't need a bigger dick. You just don't. You don't fucking need it. There's no such thing as a need for a bigger penis. Most of you guys are average, and average is perfectly acceptable, and average is perfectly, like, your shovel is the perfect size to do what you need to do with it. For most of you guys, it's everything else. Pay attention. Ask questions. You guys get on the damn forum and ask like a bunch of other dudes with massive body dysmorphia and fucking raging insecurities what to do, more than some of you ask your significant others. Hey buddy, Perfect Swerve here, aka Adam. It's funny, I find myself a little bit nervous making this video. I've never had a fear of public speaking. I've been in front of cameras and in front of large groups of people my entire life. So all that to say that as I was thinking through making this video this morning, I found myself a little bit nervous, and I wondered why. And I realized because some of the stuff that I'm going to say in this video is going to make you guys not like me. And I don't like that. I think it's going to make you not like me because it's going to hurt your feelings or upset your worldview. And I don't like that either. I don't like that because I, like anybody else, like being liked. Thing is, I see a lot of you guys commenting and posting in a way that shows me that you've been hurt and you've had a bad experience, and I hurt for you, and it upsets me in a way that I wish I could help. I wish I could have foregone some of that hurt for you guys. But I'm here to hopefully convince you that the world is not nearly as bad as you think it is. Hopefully, maybe by the end of this video, I'll convince you that it's just the places in the world that you're hanging out, people in the world that you are attracting. So first, I'll get some stuff out of the way. Apex delays. We are working furiously. We finally solved everything with it. The new Apex is just beautiful. It's amazing, honestly. It's like the craziest thing. It looks so good, and I'm doing product photos today, so those will be up on the website. I'll probably make a big Reddit post about those too, because I'm just so damn proud of it. And to be honest, one of the reasons that I held it up, because we had hundreds of them ready to go, and one of the reasons that I held it up was because I just didn't like the way that I don't like the way that they looked. I didn't like the way that they felt. And I know a lot of you guys are upset that you haven't gotten it yet, but guys, this is my reputation. This is my character. This is my legacy that I'm putting out there. And I would rather ask you guys to be patient and hold you up for a few weeks so that I can give you something that I'm just really proud of than to just hand you some bullshit just to shut you the fuck up. Honestly, because that's just not me. And I appreciate all the patience. I do. I appreciate it. And promise you, when you get the new Apexes, it's like you're gonna be convinced it's worth the wait. Apex Pros. A lot of you guys are asking about the scales. We don't know. We don't know. We don't have. We hope like 6 to 8 weeks. But things, as you guys have seen, we're a small company that blew up into a big small company really fast. So 6 to 8 weeks, what we're looking at, we're hoping. So, all right. I saw a post this morning, and the post was talking about the discrepancy between sexual readiness and arousal between men and women. The original poster was commenting, basically that despite his above average size and his gains and success in PE, that he felt that his significant other had less of a sex drive than he did. And let's tackle that first and foremost. Your penis size has nothing to do with the arousal level of your partner. It doesn't. This is something that we've created as a fantasy, that we all get big dicks, that women will just flock to us because they'll just be overtaken by their carnal nature, and they will be magnetized and hypnotized by our big, huge cocks. And this is just, I hope you realize, hearing me say that out loud, that this is foolishness, and this is just not true. So I can imagine that if you have this goal, if you have this idea that making your penis huge is going to make your significant other horny 24/7, and that you work and toil and slave and literally, hurt yourself for this endeavor of making your member larger, that potentially very disappointing whenever that doesn't pan out to be the way that it is. And I'm sorry for anybody who's gone through this experience, but let's tackle the other thing that I saw in the post. The other thing that I saw in the post is this. There are a lot of you guys in the comments sections that were suggesting that women only want sex when they're drunk, or when they're ovulating, or that women only want sex when you don't want sex. And this in turn gave rise to some suggestions by commenters that the original poster should feign disinterest in an attempt to entice his significant other. And what you're suggesting is manipulation. There's not another way to word that. What you're suggesting is lying. You're suggesting that you trick his significant other into thinking that he doesn't want sex, so that she will, in some sense of reverse psychology, she will be aroused by this. And what you're suggesting is manipulation and lying. And the only thing that can come of this is negative. you base your relationship off of manipulating and lying your significant other, I don't know what type of relationship you think you're fostering when the basis is manipulation and lying. So, here's something that I want to present to you as an idea, because a lot of guys in the community sort of feel that women are just evil and asexual and all of these things, and this goes right along the vein of why I think women aren't aroused nearly as much as men are aroused. So I present to you a thought. Either all women are evil and manipulative and they don't want sex and all of these things. Either that's true and you have no hope. Or maybe it's our fault. Maybe it's us. Maybe we have work to do. Now, you can believe one or the other. You can believe that women are manipulative and that they don't want sex and that they're just evil and that they are just out to sleep with the biggest dicks on the planet, and that's all they want. They just want money and power and big dicks, and that's all they want. What's the answer to that situation? There is none. There is no answer. Unless you become the richest guy with the biggest dick and the most power, then you know, you're fucked. You're fucked. If that's true, if it's true that all women are evil and they just want money, power, and huge cocks, then you're fucked. Or maybe we have work to do as men in our relationship. And that we can work with, because that gives us hope. That gives us hope because it just says we're just not working with this creature right. We're not speaking their language. We're going about it in the wrong way to get what we want, to get what we need. And I'll present it to you, you know, in I'll tell you my thought. I don't think women are evil. I don't think women are evil at all. I don't think that they only want money, power, and huge dicks, honestly. And in my personal experience, that's, you know, very, very rarely the case. I think that most women that I've met in my life, and by the way, just by nature of the fact that I have met these women, it rules out the notion that all women want these things, because the vast majority of women in my life want a few things. They want security. They want to feel safe physically as well as emotionally, spiritually. They want to feel valued. They want to feel appreciated. To me, guys, this is a really simple sort of situation. Now, I'm not saying that it's not a complex situation. I'm just saying it's not complicated. Complicated and complex are two different things, okay? Things that are complicated, you don't want to fuck with, okay? Complication is like shit that just, it's like you walk away from, okay? Complex is different because complex adds an element of intrigue. You want to engage with complex. Think about puzzles. Think about video games. We love playing video games. We love solving puzzles. Why do we do that as men? Because as men, we're attracted to complex things. There's an intrigue there. There's an enticement there. But not complication. Complication is different. Complicated is like, shut the fuck up, get the fuck out of here. I don't want to deal with this bullshit. And I'm not just talking about women. I'm talking about like things that are complicated to one man versus the other. Completely different. Finances to me, like running this business and doing finances to me are complicated. I'm like, shut the fuck up, get out. I don't care. Like, I hire somebody else to do that because I just like, I can't brain that type of shit. Anyways, let's talk about some basic biological differences, okay? Basic biological differences between a man and a woman are this. A guy, and I said this in the comments section of the post that I'm talking about, a guy can get a boner in the middle of a fucking hurricane, you know, surrounded by fucking alligators and sharks and sharknadoes and shit, okay? Men have very, very few factors that actually suppress our ability to become aroused. We just don't. And that's an evolutionary feature, because if we were the ones that were suppressed every time we were stressed or things were out of control, then human life would not have evolved, period. Okay? Because there's just too much fucking adversity. So, men can get a boner and men want to have sex in way more adverse situations. Why is that? It's because our responsibility biologically is just to fertilize an egg. That's it. We fertilize an egg and then we get to go away. Now, I'm not talking about in our modern society. I'm talking about biologically, okay? Biologically, after the egg is fertilized, we have no more responsibility to that process, okay? So, a female, however, has to enter a state of, or not, doesn't have to, but enters a state of arousal, copulates, becomes fertilized, and then has to deal with the responsibility of now protecting that life form for the next 9 months. They don't just get to dump and run. Okay, so as a thought experiment, in the wild, men see way more opportunities for sex and way more opportunities for arousal because, again, we just don't have that many factors that play into our arousal system that say like, no, this isn't a good time to have a baby. If we're fed and we are, you know, somewhat appropriately slept, we're going to get a boner. We're going to want to fuck 24/7. Women have these sub-processes running 24/7 in the back of their mind, in the oldest part of their brain, actually, in the oldest part of their brain that dictates things like reproductive function and such. I want to say it's in what we call the basal ganglia. I might be wrong. Hank can correct me on that if he wants to, but I do know it is a part of our reptile brain. It is a part of the oldest part of the brain. So like the brain as an organ sort of developed from the base of the skull to the front. So like as we get to the front, this part up here, this big, our prefrontal cortex is the newest part, and that's the part that allows for imagination and hypothetical thought and creative thinking and things like that. But here at the back near the brain stem, that's the oldest part of our brain. That's our reptile brain, and that controls base functions, things that, you know, every creature on Earth, well, every mammal at the very least, and reptile, hence the name reptile brain, have these functions. Anyways, I digress. There are just way more adverse situations that are going to turn a woman off than a man. So, maybe she's not being a bitch so much as we haven't created an environment where she feels safe enough, or where her lizard brain feels safe enough to procreate. Personal story time. I was married for 10 years to my high school sweetheart. We were in a relationship for 15 years. I met her when I was 15 years old, and we were married up until the time that I was about 30 years old. Somewhere around the 3rd year of marriage or so, I don't remember what it was, that flipped in my brain. But one night, I went and just out of fucking boredom or something, I don't remember what I did. She was away at work, and I cleaned the house, I vacuumed the floors, I, just decided it'd be nice if she came home to, a nice steak and some vegetables and a bubble bath. And she came home, the house smelled nice, and she just stopped in the doorway and just like realized that the whole house is clean. She just sort of looked around. Our house is very small and you can see the whole thing from the doorway, but she just looked around the whole house, and you could just see this like weight drop off of her. And what happened after, I won't go into too much detail, but she basically just like attacked me on the sofa. Before then, we were sort of like a high average, couple in terms of like the amount of time that we would have sex. But it was like something clicked in my brain when I saw her come through the door, and she just like, and the next thing she did was she literally just dropped her bag and like ran over to the couch and attacked me. Needless to say, I put two and two together, and I made sure that that girl had a hot meal and a bubble bath and a clean house as often as possible. And I had as much sex as I ever wanted to the rest of that marriage for the entire time. Something just fell on top of my shed. It's probably a tree branch. So anyways, I put two and two together, and I basically realized, okay, there's this situation here that I'm creating where suboptimal suboptimal living conditions are contributing to like an overall amount of stress. So she comes home and she's thinking, I gotta do the dishes, I gotta do the laundry, I gotta do this, I gotta do that, I gotta cook it, blah, 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 blah. But when she came through the door and thought, I don't have to do any of that, all of a sudden it's like, I can enjoy myself. What the fuck? Like, how is that not a eureka moment? So anyways, needless to say, I became a very tidy person after that day. I learned to pick up after myself. So, fast forward to now my girlfriend of 2.5 years. We'll just call her Miss McSwerve. She admittedly, and I do plan on doing a video with her soon, so she's going to tell this story probably. She didn't like sex at all. She admittedly, she didn't say she hated sex. She just like would never go out of her way to have sex or get sex. Now she wants to have sex twice a day, at least, to be honest. Now, the reason for that is because, again, I think that she'll tell you that none of her other lovers were very considerate at all. And this is a really big thing that I think a lot of you guys need to really, really like sort of meditate on, is like maybe, and again, please, please, please do not take this negatively and like don't hate me for saying this, but like maybe your significant other doesn't want sex because you don't make it an event for them. Like maybe it's like guys, we like sex because we get to like come, and it's enjoyable, obviously. Maybe if your significant other does not want as much sex as you do, maybe you're not turning it into as much of a desirable event for them. Because I guarantee you, if it was just this like outrageously them-centered event, that they would probably want it much, much more. And I hope we can agree on that, right? Like we know that women like sex when it's done correctly. I mean, good God, like the numbers are, I mean, like women like to masturbate just as, it's flying here. Women like to masturbate just as much as guys do. I mean, well, maybe slightly less, but to the degree that like when we look at, when we look at the numbers from studies that we can sort of kind of trust, it doesn't it doesn't really appear that most women have a sexual appetite that's like that much suppressed, that much less than men when it comes to masturbation. So at the very least, we can say that they like to jerk off as much as the average guy does. So that being said, if your significant other doesn't want to have sex, maybe you need to really investigate and sort of meditate and think on the fact that maybe you're not necessarily serving their needs. And I would suggest that you read a book called I Heart the Female Orgasm. I would dare to say I've read 80% of the popular books on sex and sexual health. And I Heart the Female Orgasm is probably the one most comprehensive one, and the reason that I think that too is because it's actually written by a couple. It's actually written by a couple, and they're both sex therapists, and so I think you get a really great vantage point. It's not written by a man, it's not written by a woman, it's written by both of them talking about it, and so I think that's invaluable. I think you need both sides of the coin there. So, that's it. That's the whole thing. I know this is a 24 fucking minute rant, and I'm sorry. But maybe women aren't evil. Maybe we just need to realize that our dicks being big is the last thing that they need from us. Maybe we need to realize that what they need more than a big dick is somebody that gives a fuck. In the bedroom, in life. Maybe we need to realize that, you know, that our penis is probably not that important in the grand scheme of things. And yes, I am the dude that owns a company that makes penis enlargement devices, and I know I repeat myself over and over and over, and I tell all of you that you don't need a bigger dick. You just don't. You don't fucking need it. There's no such thing as a need for a bigger penis. Most of you guys are average, and average is perfectly acceptable, and average is perfectly, like, your shovel is the perfect size to do what you need to do with it. For most of you guys, it's everything else. Pay attention. Ask questions. You guys get on the damn forum and ask like a bunch of other dudes with massive body dysmorphia and fucking raging insecurities what to do, more than some of you ask your significant others. And like, also, get the fuck off Reddit. Like, I say this in love. Again, I love you guys. I really do. And I fucking hurt for some of you guys, because it's just like, you can spend so much time on Reddit that it becomes toxic, and that you think that this is the real world, and this bullshit just circulates and circulates and cycles and gets inside your head, and it's no better than looking at porn. And I think enough of us on the forum have talked about how porn has fucked us up, that it's given us massive insecurities and body dysmorphia and all of these things, and we keep consuming it and keep consuming it. And the thing is, a lot of you guys that are just posting toxic shit on Reddit is just the exact same thing. All you're doing is you're bringing people down. You're just bringing people down. You're just creating problems rather than putting your heads together to solve them. And I'm here to say that I just don't think that your dick size matters that much. It's not what your woman needs from you. I'm not going to say that it's not something that you get to decide that you want, because that's fine, because we all have fetishes. I'm growing mine. I'm not blaming you for it. What I'm saying is I'm growing mine out of a point of excitement. I am excited about doing it. I want to see what can happen. It's a thing that my girlfriend and I enjoy as a sex act, as a fetish, as a, you know, just let's do this together type of thing. But all of that to say, I'm here for you guys. I am. I'm on your team. I'm here for you. I want the best for you guys. But think we need to realize as a community that our significant others need much more from us than just a big dick attached to an otherwise hollow, useless person. It says Perv McSwerve, and I will see you guys later.